Hello, and welcome back to my garden diaries. We are approaching the end of February, which means spring is technically less than a month away, seasonally, technically. You wouldn't know it by looking outside my house right now because we are getting 3 to 5 inches of snow and some of the coldest temperatures that we've had this winter yet this week. But a few days ago, I did some puttering around my garden before the snow came. I had dug up this Shasta daisy a few days ago when I was starting to restructure like the top plateau of my garden, and I dug them up and I kind of just let them sit for a few days, but now I am finally getting to splitting them. I've been working with my mom, who owns a shop in town, and some other gardeners around town, and I think I'm going to try to be selling some plant starts and little potted plants, maybe some bulbs, we'll see. So I wanted to split up the Shasta daisy. These Shasta daisies I started from seed, I want to say like almost 2 years ago. Each one of these plants, like this one plant that you're looking at, this big chunk, started from one seed that I got from Target 2-3 years ago, and now it has grown and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, and it is huge. So I wanted to divide it up. This is one of the few perennials that I've grown that has flowered very quickly from seed, which is very exciting and always super rewarding. Like a lot of perennials sometimes take a long time to grow. Like I started a bunch of perennials not this past August, but the August before, and some of those I'm still waiting to see. I think I might have started them too late. Our winters don't generally get as cold as they're getting, so the plants, some of them have just been sitting and waiting. So they're going to be going into their second summer, or only second summer, I guess, very soon. So hopefully they will be blooming for me, but these Shasta daisies are not one of those. They bloomed for me within the first year of planting them, and they're very rewarding to grow, and I just love them. They're not the best cut flower from my experience. The bugs tend to get at the white petals, but I think they're just gonna be beautiful in the early spring in my yellow and white garden. So that's where I'm ending up putting the actual plants, and then I potted up 5 of the pots. But in this bed is where some of my tulip experiments are, and if you've been following or subscribed for a while, which if you're enjoying this video and want to see more of my garden, be sure to like and subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. But I have been doing some tulip experiments, and I have just under 1,000 tulip bulbs in various stages, in various plantings, in various areas. I've got a lot going on because my brain just wants to try all of the things. I'm currently a hobby gardener, like this isn't my business, but I primarily grow cut flowers, and I'm trying out tulips. I want to see how they grow. So I'm in zone 7B, and zone 8 is sort of the cutoff for bulbs that need a lengthy winter chill time. So if you're in zone 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, you have to manually chill your bulbs. So these bulbs that I'm planting today are actually bulbs that I bought pre-chilled. So you can buy bulbs that have had some sort of chilling, and then you get them, and maybe you have to put them in your refrigerator for the rest of the chill time. Generally, from what I've seen, it's 12 to 16 weeks. So these bulbs for me had 8 weeks of chill time. I put them in my fridge for more than 4 weeks, and now I'm going to be putting them outside. So they're kind of like ready to go. I think you can kind of tell by their shoots, and there's basically 3 stages of tulip bulb growth from what I've learned in my research. There's the chilling stage, which again, anywhere from 12 to 16, I've seen 19 weeks depending on the tulip variety. Then there's the rooting stage. So they want slightly warmer than when they were chilling, but not as warm as when they bloom, for like 3 to 4 weeks so that they can set really good roots in total darkness. So almost as if they're in soil. Then once they've fully established their roots, this is all stuff that should be happening in nature without us interfering at all. But like I live in zone 7B, so this might not always happen in nature for me. But once they've had their 3 to 4 weeks of rooting in at like 40 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit, then they're ready for like, I'm going to say 50 to 60 degrees. I'm not sure on that number, but basically a little bit warmer, but not hot. Like they don't want 70-degree days all of a sudden. And during those like next, I'll say 20 to 30 days, again, this all depends on variety of tulips. That's when they start growing and putting on leaves and blooms and stems, and when they start growing. But in general, for cut flowers, tulips are actually grown as annuals, because if you just harvest the stem without the bulb, you're not getting the longest length of stem. So a lot of cut flower growers and like wholesale flower people in Holland and all that stuff, they harvest the full tulip with the bulb, so they're grown as annuals. But these bulbs take like anywhere from 3 to 4 years to grow to maturity to produce a bloom. So a lot has gone into each one of these little tulip bulbs that you're actually seeing me plant. So I'm trying to figure out a way where I can educate my local community about bulbs and everything that goes into them without having to sacrifice the bulb every time I want to share the beauty of the tulips with my neighborhood. So I'm trying to think of ways that I could sell the tulips as shorter stems, or save the bulbs or multiply the bulbs on my own so that the cost could be lower for my local community. I'm not having to reorder bulbs every year. I could be totally wrong, and I'm just a newbie, so I don't know, but I'm giving it a try. If you have any thoughts on this or have any knowledge of bulbs, let me know. So once I was done planting those tulips, they were red impression tulips, which I got thinking I would have them for Valentine's Day, which was a week ago. So I'm very off on that. But maybe next year, if I am able to save them and multiply them, I'll have even more red blooms. But I decided on this last little bit of bed space that I kind of wanted to make a little cold frame. So I took some of the bricks that I have. These are bricks that were from a chimney in my house when we renovated it, so they were free. All of the wood you see for this bed was also free. And last year when I built this, I used the hugel culture method. I know I'm saying that wrong because I'm American, but it's basically the method where you put a bunch of twigs and sticks at the bottom of a bed. And I use a lot of like rotting forest material, so all that's really left is a lot of like half rotted wood and sticks and twigs. Twigs and sticks, twigs and twigs. Twigs and sticks. What's that thing about the Twix? What's their slogan? Anyways. And I dug whatever was left and I put it in these little pots, and I put my little Shasta daisies because I didn't really know where I wanted to put them. My greenhouse is good, but it's not perfect, so I wanted to kind of see how they fare out here. Obviously, they've been outside this whole time and they look fine. They look green. They're doing great. These are really hardy plants from my personal experience. So I decided to try them out in my little cold frame. And I also decided to move some of my onion starts out into this cold frame as well, because I feel like they just need a little bit more sunlight, and I think the filtered light of my greenhouse plastic is not enough for them. I don't know. I think they also need fertilizer. So there's a lot going on here, but I decided to make this little cold frame. We're going to see how it goes, especially with this cold weather coming up. The snow should hopefully insulate the little window that I put on top, and these plants should stay snug and warm. So to the left is where I had planted my tulips, and to the right is my little cold frame. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how they do. A lot louder now, but these are all baby bulbs. And oops, most people don't bother with these for good reason. They take forever. But peonies are a popular cut flower that if you're growing to cut and sell, they say you shouldn't cut before the 3rd year, but the 4th and 5th year are kind of like where you really start to see the results. And these bulbs are kind of the same. Obviously, it's one bulb for one flower. A peony is one root for like anywhere from, I'm going to say 5 to 20 flowers, depending on who you ask, I think. But each of these little bulbs, if they survive the next 4 to 5 years with me, will grow and be a tulip. So I'm gonna try and we'll see. Look at this one. They were in that bag. This one, I don't think there's hope for it, because if you cut off the one, well, we'll try. It just needs leaves, really. And the variety of sizes and shapes is, I think, so fun. Like this one even has a baby on the baby. So one of the things I'm not sure about with these little bulb babies is whether or not they need part of the like base plate or where the roots come out of the tulip. Like I'm not sure if these are too young to be separating them off of the mother plant, if you will. So if you know that answer, please let me know. And don't do as I do and expect results, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they need part of the base plate, because I saw a video of someone propagating tulips and daffodils by basically just straight up cutting the bulb and making sure that they included part of the base plate, which is interesting. So I'm not sure if they need the base plate so that they can have roots, so that they can eat and thrive. Because they fall so easily off the bulb, I would think that like in nature or something, I guess in theory they wouldn't be dug up and handled by humans as much as they are. But anyways, I think it's all an experiment. So we're just going to try it and see what happens. It can't hurt. It can't hurt. I'm a hobby farmer, hobby gardener. I'm just having fun. I'm trying things. But if you know the answer to that question of whether or not those little bulbs need a mother bulb with it, let me know. And speaking of bulbs, one of the few and only bulbs that I have myself that I've purchased in my garden, I covered up with all these weeds and all this extra dirt, which by the way seems to be breaking down pretty well based on that color. And then I forgot that there were bulbs underneath there. And then I said, oh, I think I buried my only bulbs. These are tete-a-tete, I think, daffodils, the little small ones that I got at half price on clearance. I think there were like 6 bulbs here. I'm not sure, but I realized to my delight that they were coming up and they were blooming or starting to bloom or grow underneath the warmth of all that mulch and stuff that I'd put on top of them. So I dug them up. I brought some of them inside, and I think I'm going to be doing a fun project with them very soon. Yeah, I just think I'm really starting to love bulbs. I think they're really fun. It's a shame I don't live in a place where they don't come around more often or thrive as well as they could, but yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I have a $50 cut flower garden update coming very, very soon, if not this week. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about these bulbs as well. And I hope you have a great week. I'm going to try to endure the snow and enjoy it while it's here, because I'm hoping it's gone for the rest of the year after this. But I also want to enjoy it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.